when there's only two of you, and one of you cannot move around, and doesn't have the use of their legs with which to motivate the crowd, it's always very impressive, because I've seen a lot of two-man bands, and usually the permutation is a drummer and somebody else, and the drummer can't move, and so it makes it a little challenging to whip a crowd up into a crowd surfing 4-time frenzy the way you guys did. How do you do that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think just the pure sexual energy between us and the crowd.
I did notice that.
Yeah. We do a lot of pelvic thrusting during the show.
Yeah. But we actually talked about, because I was on that riser. I kind of wanted him to leave it rolly, just have guys spin me around as I played.
Oh, Tommy Lee style.
But then I probably would have thrown up everywhere. But it's fine. I get dizzy really easily. So
I don't know. As long as you don't drive boats and ring doorbells, Tommy Lee style,
yeah, right.
you're okay.
Exactly.
Reference for anybody that actually saw the sex tape back in 1997 or whenever it
Classic.
was. So going back to bands like Tommy Lee, bands like Motley Crue, I always ask this of a new band when I get a chance to interview them, and it came from a time when I asked Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains, hey, what's that one record or song or artist or musician that made you go, oh, I have to do music. There's no two ways about it. I am now officially bitten by the bug. And the answer was so surprising because old Jerry was like, oh, Elton John, of course. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And I was just like, wow, that's really cool and different and interesting. And like when I talk to the guys in Coheed and Cambria, they're like 100% Bon Jovi. So I'm curious to know if you guys had to pick, each of you, if you guys had to choose a record or an artist or a song or something that made you go, oh yeah, this is it, what would that be?
I'm going to say Phil Collins.
Phil Collins?
Oh, yeah. Anything. If Phil Collins does it, it's great.
Right.
That's just me, though.
Well, I mean, it's also the singing drummer thing. Which,
exactly. There you go.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with Chris on Phil Collins as well. I think Phil Collins is just an amazing, amazing man.
Yeah.
Right. No, the drum fill in the air tonight was probably that's probably motivated a lot of people to start playing.
It's hard not to do that drum fill in every song ever written because it fits in every song ever written.
That's really cool. So the whole two-piece band thing, I think it's really interesting because like 10 years ago, there was like a two-piece band, and it was the White Stripes, and that was more or less it, or like Local H Pop maybe a little bit earlier, but there weren't a whole lot of two-piece bands. Now they are cropping up left, right, and center, growing like weeds, and I have my own theory about why there's more two-piece bands floating around, but I want to know what made it so you guys were like, bass player? We don't need no stinking bass player.
We just thought like we could just get away with it. It was just easier. We tried to be in bands, 4 or 5-piece bands for years, and it's just such a hassle, There's always a guy that just like, wait, we're gonna go on tour, and he's like, oh, I can't do that. I mean, I work at Wendy's, and it's going real good, and
we gotta practice. Oh, my cat died. I can't practice today. It's like,
or like, writing songs is harder with more people and all that. We thought so. We just kind of thought, we can just sort of cover it all, just the two of us. We thought we could, and so far it's worked pretty well.
Yeah, we're getting away with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it appears to be working rather well. I mean, it is difficult, like organizing musicians into any kind of a cohesive group. It's just sort of like you're just like, oh, this guy's cell phone is dead. How am I supposed to call him and let him know we have rehearsal?
Right.
Well, you got to call his sister, but she gets mad when you do that, so you have to let it ring once, and he'll go down the street to the payphone and call you and find out about rehearsal. This is actually a true story that happened to me. Nice. I'm not just pulling that out of my rear end. But like the other thing that I noticed is like, all right, obviously people still fiend to go see live shows. BuzzFest sold out in an hour flat. 25,000 people. So people care about music. It really means something to them. However, they're not purchasing it the same way they were as, say, like in the 90s or early 2000s when you went out and bought a piece of plastic from a store, put it in your car, and listened to it on the way home. And because there's less ways to make money as a musician, I have this theory that you get bands like I Am Dynamite and Matt and Kim and 21 Pilots popping up that are only two pieces because they're like, hey, this way we don't have to pay anybody else either. Did that enter into the, like, I mean, you're such a lean, mean, easy to tour and get where you're going machine. Like the ease and the, it's kind of a crass question, but is one of the upsides of being a two-piece band making more money?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We actually used to tour in a Scion
Uh-huh.
just to save money. I mean, we got like 30 miles a gallon with full gear, the two of us.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, yeah, we're always. I mean, this economy in general. This is gonna be a long answer. I apologize.
wow.
No,
Here we
no,
go.
But here we go.
This
no,
economy
this is cool
in
because,
general,
like,
it goes back to 1932, I think.
Right,
when,
yeah.
Right before the economy crashed, and then no, but
when Charles Schwab
yeah,
bought
yeah.
out the steel mill.
But, you know, I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, it's a. I guess it's a business, and anything to do it. Like you said, I mean, they're not going out and buying CDs, or not, whatever. But you know, they still download. They still whatever. They come to shows, and so.
Uh-huh.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a huge thing. I mean, for us, especially, the money thing, yeah, it is, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're money hungry. We'll sell out in any way. We'll do Pepsi commercials like Beyonce. We don't care.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care. I'll do a Pepsi commercial just like Beyonce.
No, it's
they
just
want me
like.
to.
Can you do the single ladies dance?
That's all it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, they absolutely killed it for us here today. I can't wait for you guys to come back and kill it yet again. Make some noise for I Am Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen.